Hello and welcome to another spiritual learning video. Today we're going to find out about how to handle it when your family and friends don't agree with your spirituality. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalytics, once claimed that spiritual beliefs and paranormal experiences were mere illusions. By lacking any sort of scientific explanation, Freud believed that the messages from the dead or the apparitions themselves were nothing more than a hiccup of the brain. On the other hand, William James, author of The Varieties of Religious Experiences, A Study in Human Nature, believed that spirituality should be included as a healthy component of the psychological functionings, i.e., believing in mysterious occurrences led to a more fulfilling and well-rounded life. For many people around the world, their spirituality and faith directly coincide with their beliefs in the paranormal. Mediums deliver messages from the dead to the living. Tarot readers connect with their innate spirituality to conduct readings for those who seek them, and others who practice voodoo or hoodoo wrangle the spirits, and they own them in order to work in perfect balance. For them, and hordes of other people who classify themselves as being spiritual, there remains a deep integrated perspective that the dead walk among us and are able to communicate just as effectively as the living do. But what do you do after a spiritual awakening has led you a path different from what your family and friends believe? What happens when people don't understand your spiritual journey? Dealing with oppositional family members, friends, and acquaintances when you embark on your spiritual journey is no easy task. It can bring up all sorts of feelings: shame, guilt, inadequacy, self-doubt, anger, resentment, and even confusion. Or even worse, what happens if your family actively opposes, mocks, or belittles your spirituality? Of course, this situation is exasperating if you're dealing with very close family members. Say a husband, wife, parent, siblings, even your children, who is opposed to your spirituality or tries to make you feel ashamed about it. Here are some things you might hear from relatives or friends who don't understand your spirituality, or in more general terms, don't understand what a spiritual journey actually is. I don't know why you're so different now. You think you're better than everyone else? The real world doesn't work that way. You need to come back to reality. You sound like you're in a cult. So what's the point of doing this meditation and other spiritual stuff anyway? You sound crazy. You're not the person I used to know. I don't know who you are. When are you going to come out of this? Is this a temporary trend or fad? Why are you spending your time or even money on this stuff? You're getting brainwashed. Those are some of the things you might hear. And of course, hearing negative comments like these trigger all sorts of uncomfortable thoughts and feelings in you. You want to defend yourself. You want to protect yourself. You want to make them see how this is the right path for you. You might even want to make them see how it might be the right path for them too. And it might be the case that some of these people are open to your explanations about why and how this path is helping you, how it's transforming your life, how you feel more alive and at peace than ever. But other people will not want to hear any of that. They just won't get it, or they'll be extremely resistant. So what do you do then? Well, here's some suggestions on how you can cope. First of all, you must remember that everyone, yes, even that annoying or frustrating relative, is doing the best that they can from where they are. We're all at different levels of consciousness. If you've experienced a spiritual awakening and seen beyond the veil, you're definitely at a different level of consciousness than someone who only believes in material reality. This does not mean some people are better than others. It just means that we're all at a different evolutionary stage. We all move towards greater consciousness at different rates. Trying to rush or force someone to understand something beyond their level of evolution is pointless and can even be harmful for their own development. Another crucial fact to keep in mind, when you start making positive changes in your life, some people will react negatively. This is because you're showing them how they haven't healed or changed themselves yet. This will make them feel defensive and trigger all sorts of feelings in them, including resistance to anything you have to say. Secondly, you must also remember that anything that's triggered within you is your own responsibility. Yes, sometimes other people say or do things that activate uncomfortable emotions, thoughts within you. But how you deal with those emotions and thoughts is your own responsibility, not the responsibility of the other person. In fact, you must thank everyone on your path who triggers negative feelings in you, because they're showing you the areas that still need work or healing. Perhaps your feelings of shame or inadequacy are triggered when a relative tries mocking your spiritual practices or using a belittling tone with you. Instead of hating them and projecting your feelings onto them, such as making them out to be the ones that are inadequate or shameful, try to explore how you can heal these feelings within yourself. For instance, where is this feeling of shame and inadequacy really coming from? How can you release them so that you may be less triggered in the future in the same way? Thirdly, although you must thank everybody who triggers you for showing you the rough spots in you that need to be healed or smoothed over, there eventually comes a time where you must create healthy, strong boundaries with specific people. You don't need to be a victim or put up with anyone's verbal abuse or belittling comments. At the end of the day, you get to choose who you will allow into your life, how long you'll spend time with them, and what the parameters you need to set in that relationship. You're not obligated to spend time with anyone, whether they're related to you or not. Fourthly, release toxic people and relationships. This aligns right with the third. There comes a point where you must release toxic people and relationships. This can be especially hard when these people are your own family members. Our culture often tells us family comes first, that blood is thicker than water, that families stick together no matter what. These are just limiting beliefs. You can choose to have a different idea about what family means and how family is supposed to work. Toxic people are everywhere, at work, at school, on vacation, and even in our families. Don't feel shame or guilt if you choose to go no contact or to avoid a specific relative, as long as you're doing this to protect your sanity and well-being and not doing it out of spite, resentment, or to punish them. You're free to create a soul family with people who support, uplift, and encourage you to pursue your spiritual calling and to heal yourself. If necessary, work through any guilt that comes up when you consider releasing toxic family members from your life. That guilt is just a sign that you've been socially conditioned in some way to put your biological family ahead of yourself. Fifthly, if you choose to continue spending time with family members who don't really get your spirituality or who are inclined to mock it or put it down, make sure you adopt the skill of strategic sharing. This means determining the safe topics and subjects you'll discuss and share with that person ahead of time. Maybe all you can talk about with them is the weather, a recent vacation, or how the kids are doing. Try to keep your interactions with this person as peaceful and as stress-free as possible. If you know that a certain topic makes them react by shaming you or putting you down, make sure you stay clear of those subjects. Another good strategy is to keep the conversations focused on them. After all, people love talking about themselves. Hopefully, by adapting some of these suggestions, you'll be able to better deal with family members and friends who don't share or understand your spirituality or your spiritual journey. Ultimately, remember that you have the freedom and the right to do what is best for you and to pursue the path that most feels aligned with your soul. Don't allow anyone to get in the way of that. You must fiercely protect your free will and your ability to continue evolving spiritually. There is always going to be someone who is going to disagree with us on our politics or religion. someone who has a radically different ethical standards, or who has many opinionated and unwelcome beliefs about how we spend our money, the life choices that we make, or how we parent our kids. Some of those people may be close relatives whose relationships are important to us, which make these potentially impassioned discussions all the more weighty. We have all been there, but it's easy for those conversations to go downhill fast. Some of us have even temporarily or permanently severed ties with those family members over these issues. In most cases, practicing good communication skills and making an effort to foster respect and honesty is all it takes to survive these troubling moments at the family dinner table. Most important is to find a support system. Look for people who share the same beliefs as you, who are about at the same level of consciousness as you are, that went through a spiritual awakening as you did, to help you. And if you ever need any extra support, please comment on this video and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you so much for joining us on another Spiritual Learning Thursday. Please consider subscribing if you're not subscribed, and check out our spiritual learning playlist for more content like this. We'll see you next week.